What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jones, and welcome to another episode of E&J Full Court Shot. As always, joined with my host E. What's good, boy?
Good.
And today we got a special guest. You might have seen him before on the show. My brother, a big basketball fan, so I had to get him on here. What up, boy?
What's going on, man?
Appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
And all basketball fans must be happy today because we finally got what we've been waiting for, and that is the NBA playoffs. Starting today, it's actually starting now. Games have been kicked off. We've been getting a lot of games already, and I think as a basketball fan, we couldn't ask for anything better because when when it's not what we're normally going through, we get maybe 2 games a night, but now we're getting 4 and shit like that. So it's like a basketball fan's dream to have this.
Yeah.
But before we get into our NBA bubble playoffs, is what I like to call them. What are your thoughts on the bubble and all? Like, what MVP being Dame Lillard? What were your overall thoughts, E?
I think it was to be honest, it was better basketball, like on court wise. You had guys who were like role players stepping up and putting up superstar numbers and shit, like the T.J. Warrens of the world and shit like that. And obviously Dame going off was just berserk, And then even look at the Suns going 8-0. That was crazy. I think on the court wise, I think the bubble actually helped out.
Yeah, I got guys warmed up and shit like that. Did you think Dame deserved the MVP?
Absolutely. He put up 150 some points in 3 games. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not like he did it just to do it. He did it because his team needed all of those points to win them games and to get into this playoff. So, that's what made it a little more special. He basically put the team on his back and willed them into the playoffs.
Absolutely. E, what do you think?
I'm very impressed by the way Dame Lillard been playing. You the one that picked me on,
I've
and
been a Dame fan.
and ever since then I just been a fan, and I just think it's incredible the things that he's just been doing lately. And I think what really woke him up was the loss to the Clippers.
Yeah. For sure.
And I told people, I think Dame hold grudges.
Mm-hmm.
He take things personal. I believe so, but he's not out there spoken, but it's more like, and then on top of that, he got laughed at.
Yeah.
He got laughed at. So it was more like, I really need the ball. It's,
Yeah.
I know I lost to a really good team, but there's no more games or anything like that. So, I've been very impressed with what he's been doing and carrying it back on with his team.
So you think he deserved it over Booker?
It's tough, but yes. And the only reason I'm gonna say that is just more like he wanted the opportunity to be here. That's all he said.
Yeah.
I just need a shot. Give us a fighting chance.
Yep.
It's not like he asked for it
Right.
and did nothing with it.
Yeah, that's fact.
So he asked for the shot and the opportunity, and he did what needed to be done for it.
Yeah, I agree. Everything that you both said, Dame definitely deserved it over Booker. Booker was amazing, and if Dame wasn't doing what he was doing, I would have gave it to Booker. But because everything you just said, he fought for that spot. He said it. You guys give me a fair shot. That's all I can ask for, and he put it to work. He really put Dame time on the map and took advantage of it. And the bubble overall, I just loved it. Besides who I'm rooting for, and I know who he's rooting for. Lakers didn't look too good in the bubble, but they were able to lock up the seed, the #1 seed, so that's all that really mattered. Before we get into our predictions, are you, based off of what you saw from the Lakers, E, and I know that's your favorite team, are you worried going into the playoffs how hot the Blazers been and how slow and ice cold your Lakers have been? Are you worried?
I'm not I feel like the
Usually,
Blazers are gonna I'm not worried in the
What
sense
was that?
of I I think the Blazers are gonna bump the Lakers out, but I do feel like they'll definitely make it a tough series with them. The Lakers had trouble guarding Dame all season before so
Yeah.
now his run is just making it even more like he was unstoppable before. So like I think for the Lakers to do is let Dame do what he does. Just CJ don't go off. Nurkic don't have good games. Melo, you can't let Melo go off and like hurt you. And for the Lakers, it's like these other guys got to step up. AD was very inconsistent in the bubble. We need AD to get back into a pre-bubble AD. We need LeBron to come up and be more aggressive and stop being so passive early. I feel like, the injury to CJ might be a target for the Lakers. Like attack him in the post, get him on LeBron in the post and work that. The Blazers aren't a great defensive team.
Yeah,
When
that's
you
true.
have a
Very true.
duo like LeBron and AD, that has to do it because AD's a tough matchup for them. Nurkic can't really guard him. Melo's too small to guard him and too slow. So it's like, not having Rondo's gonna hurt because you don't really have somebody to control the flow of the offense when LeBron's on the bench. But we need guys like the one guy who I complain about the most, Kyle Kuzma. He needs to really step up and show his worth. And then
Yeah,
hopefully guys like Dion Waiters can add that spark off the bench.
yeah, for sure. Since we already got you, obviously we know you're going with the Lakers. How many games you got it going?
As of now, I'll say 6.
All right, 6 games. Lakers winning that series. E, what do you think? I gotta. There's 2. They're both E's. For the listeners, we got E, my brother, and E, my co-host. So don't get confused. But yeah, who you got? Lakers for?
I'm going with the Lakers. And I know that me and you spoke plenty of times of LeBron in his mode when it's playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not saying that regular season doesn't count. Like LeBron is going to put up his numbers, but LeBron mental is definitely different when he's in playoff mode. The players around him will play differently.
Yeah.
I don't think AD is going to slack or anything like that. We're not going to see what we saw before. We're going to see aggressiveness, blockage, everything, because they have a shot of winning the championship.
Absolutely.
And I get it. Rondo's not there, and another key player is Bradley.
Yeah.
So he mentioned Dion Waiters, and another person too is J.R. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
If
he can get his shot.
Yes, and the first time he played in a bubble, he hit multiple 3-pointers. So
6 or 7.
Yeah, so you get something like that from JR and Kuzma especially because he's the X factor. There is no Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis, we expect things from him. Exactly. LeBron, we expect this from you, but Kuzma is the X factor.
He is.
And if Kuzma do not show up, then there's problems.
To be honest, that you mentioned Kuzma is actually funny. I think this type of playoff would help a guy like Kuzma because the sense of Kuzma gives me those vibes of he'll play sporadic. So like playing in front of fans, he'll try to get the oohs and ahs. Now that he just has to focus on playing basketball, he could just play ball.
Right.
Absolutely. And then one more thing to mention about Bron is everybody knows Bron does that blackout 23 shit for the playoffs. He shuts down social media and everything. Going into the bubble, he said he wasn't going to do it because he couldn't be away from that. But now with the NBA allowing them to bring some family into the bubble, we might see a more focus on LeBron because now he don't have to worry about, I got to make sure my kids and family is good. They'll probably be with him.
Exactly. That's definitely going to help.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. They're allowing. I think it's the second round. They're going to allow family to come in. I think of 4, and then they can bring some people, something like that.
And
plus, they really do their best to keep it.
One more incentive for the Lakers to do it. Them motherfuckers better win because the second round they announced they wearing the Kobe tribute jerseys. They got to wear them Black Mamba jerseys in the second round. So they better get through the first round.
I'm going to give my pick real quick. And obviously, you guys have been listening to the show for a while. I'm going with the Lakers. But the Blazers, I think they have the potential to push it 7. I don't think it'll go 7. I think it'll go 6, and it'll be a hard fought 6 because we've all said Dame is he's on another level right now, and I think that's just going to continue into the playoffs. He's going to give his team a fighting chance. But the important part is McCollum's going to have to continue to be what he's been the last few games against Memphis, and the other piece. If there's any guy that I would be scared of at that seed, it's Damian. So a lot of people were saying they wanted to get Memphis in because it'll be an easier win for the Lakers. But my thought on that was I wanted it to be the Blazers because I want it to be a hard fought first round for the Lakers because second and third round ain't gonna be easy. So if they get a first round, they'll be ready for that second and third round.
I feel like that's you saying that because you're such a Bron fan and you don't want to hear LeBron had an easy series.
That too. But not even that. It's that I don't want the Lakers going into the second round with their heads too high.
Nah. But you know what? Like you said, it's perfect. You want them for the tough matchup because this playoffs is gonna be like it's not gonna be like any other playoffs anybody else has ever seen. Like obviously we're recording while the games are there's a lot of first round games going on. Donovan Mitchell already put up 57 points in the first game of the playoffs.
Right.
Guys are showing out. Like this is not gonna be no regular playoffs. The intensity is I feel like it might be more intensity. Obviously, the only thing you're gonna miss is that crowd making making the noise, like making things more hype. But that's really it.
That's about it. But it's still gonna be intensity. It's still everybody's still watching it. So those guys are gonna ball out. Now moving on to the next matchup is Thunder and the Rockets. I think is a real interesting matchup because a lot of teams got the Rockets as their dark horse, as a team that could sneak out of the West because not a lot of people are giving them that much of a chance because they don't got bigs, but they know how to move the ball, they know how to run and transition, and they got two of the most lethal backcourt guys in the league, and James Harden and Westbrook. So the problem for the Rockets is they're going to be a few games without Westbrook with injury. I forgot what he injured specifically, but he's going to be definitely going to miss the first game, might miss the second game, quad, something like that. But James Harden's definitely going to have to step up. And then you got OKC, who is a very surprise team because before the season started, they had a 0.02% chance to make the playoffs. And they made the playoffs. Not only did they make the playoffs, they got fourth or sixth or fifth seed. That's amazing. So much credit to CP3, much credit to their coach, Donovan. I think he deserves a lot of credit with those young guys. You got Schroeder. You got, who's the other young guy? You got Gallinari. You got a bunch of young guys that are Shy. Yep. So definitely, I think this is going to be a great matchup. I don't think there's anybody that could really, you can say, is going to just win. I think this is a toss-up. I'm going 7, and I'm going with, it really depends on Westbrook. If he's going to be healthy, if he continues to be healthy, I'll give the edge to the Rockets at 7. If not, I think Thunder can sneak past. I really do. I think they give him a real good fight. And if Westbrook is not himself and Harden has to carry it by himself, and the Thunder's got bigs, and that's what I think is the Rockets, Achilles right there. So it's really going to be depending on Westbrook. But I'm going to go with Rockets in 7. E, what you got?
I got the Thunder in 7.
Okay.
I got the Thunder just, like you said, having Westbrook missing possible 2 games to 3 games, going to hurt. And plus, that's a revenge series for CP3. y'all basically gave him away.
I forgot. I
You
didn't
know,
even think about that.
CP3, he that's another guy who played well this whole year. And you mentioned the big thing for the Rockets. I know you mentioned the no bigs, but Harden by himself in the playoffs, we know how he is in the playoffs.
Yeah, he could be fishy.
He disappears. So I'm gonna say OKC in 7.
I like that. What you got?
I'm gonna go with OKC as well too.
All
And
right.
it had nothing to do with Westbrook being out, even if Westbrook was there. The only reason I'm going with OKC is because OKC reminds me of Toronto right now.
Interesting.
And the key is to play team basketball.
Yeah, they
Alright?
definitely do that.
So for me, if you're just dependent on Harden or Westbrook, then that's the dub for me. Look at Toronto. Toronto has no stars
Yeah, that's
to
true.
depend on.
Yeah, that's true.
And Chris Paul is the star of OKC, but he's not being dependent on.
Right. He's got a lot of help.
So that's why I will go with OKC. And I'm not too sure if they will go to 7, to be honest. Because OKC played tough basketball.
They're a great fucking team.
Yeah,
They're a
so
great fucking team. They shocked the hell out of me.
yeah.
And I think me and E, well, we did have a awards episode, and if I'm not mistaken, I gave the award to Billy Donovan for his work with OKC. So, as coach of the year, I don't think he'll get it, but I think he definitely deserves to be in that conversation. What he was able to do with that team, because that was special. Nobody gave him a shot. Not even me, even with Chris Paul and those guys. But major shout out to them. They did an amazing job there. Now we'll move on to the Nuggets and the Jazz, which we just saw happen, and like he just referred
As of
to.
right now, the Nuggets are leading the series.
Yep, 1-0. Great basketball. I didn't give them a shot in this game because Conley, they're missing their point guard Conley. But they gave them a fight. It went into OT, if I'm not mistaken, and the Nuggets pulled it out. Who you got for this matchup?
Like, this could be a great series. Just because they're somewhat similar to each other.
Yeah.
Like, if somehow the Jazz upsetted the Nuggets, I wouldn't be, like, overly shocked.
Right.
But I'm going to pick the Nuggets based on the fact of it's a tougher matchup for the Jazz because the Jazz top defender is Rudy Gobert.
Mm-hmm.
Who does he have to guard? The Joker. The Joker's going to drag him out to the three-point line, which leaves a lot of room for Donovan Mitchell to attack the basket and stuff like that. I mean, Murray. I'm sorry. Hey, Denver wins it, but I'm going to give it 6 because I know the Jazz ain't going to go out that easy. The Jazz are always a tough out in the playoffs, especially the first round. Yeah. They're like one of the teams I always find to have like a 7-game first round series.
Right. What you got?
I'm going with Denver. I'm going with Denver because the center,
Jokic.
He's such a problem. Not only that, if your center is your key, as in he's the leader, assists.
Yeah.
Then that's bad.
Assists. Yeah.
Yeah, he's their point guard. He's their point. They have
point center.
Denver has a point center. They don't even have a point center. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
So for you to have a point center is amazing. So if he's in the back shooting, he doesn't really have to take that shot.
Yeah.
He could just dish it off. 9 times out of 10, his teammates is going to hit it.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing but shooters.
Yep. Murray, Porter. Yeah.
So, I definitely do think the Jazz is going to put up a fight. I definitely do think so. And I think that they're not going to go out like that. But I'm giving it to Denver, definitely.
Yeah, I got to agree with y'all both. I'm going to go with Denver in 6. I think they just have too much firepower. But I do believe that the Jazz will give them a fight. You already seen game 1. They put up a fight, and they're definitely salty about losing that one. So with Conley back, hopefully Conley could be in his form and give them a good series. But Denver just has too much firepower, especially when you got Michael Porter Jr. is stepping up big for them. So those X factors are going to be big for them going throughout the playoffs. So yeah, Denver and 6, we all agree on that. The last one in the West, which is also going on in just a half an hour, the Clippers and the Mavericks. Clippers another favorite to win it all. And we already know how salty we are when it comes to the Clippers. So, I'll let you jump it off with that
one. Don't get me wrong. What I would love for to happen is Dallas sweep them bum asses, but nah. Honestly, I feel like this is gonna be the Clippers in 5. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I feel like you're gonna see Luka really step up, and I feel like we still don't know how. Like, granted, PG played well in the bubble, but we know his track record in the playoffs. But they do have that boy Kawhi, so he's made for the playoffs. But I think you will see some struggles by the Clippers because they've yet to play all together. They haven't. I don't even think Montrezl Harrell the whole bubble. I don't care about Patrick Beverley. I don't really care to speak about him. Lou Will hasn't been Lou Will, but it's all Kawhi. That's all that matters for the Clippers.
So you going with the Clippers in 5?
I said Clippers in 5.
All right. What you got, bro?
Clippers, and I think this is going 7.
The
only reason I think this is going 7 is Dallas ain't a punk team.
Yeah.
They're not a whack team.
They put up a fight.
They put up a fight. They're a really tough team. I know, like, as he mentioned about Paul George, I mentioned that, how his track record in the playoffs. But if you look back at Indiana days, how was his track record then?
Yeah, he definitely was working in Indiana.
And then he was by himself. Now his track record at OKC, he was playing with somebody like Westbrook. Yeah. Not saying he's a ball hog, but Westbrook wants some shine as well too.
Yeah.
The chemistry wasn't really
and
there.
He wasn't 100%.
Okay. Now moving on with the Clippers. When he got an established team and Kawhi isn't selfish, and I just think that they got a great coaching system with Doc as well too, and a great bench, to put up some numbers as well too. I'm really going with the Clippers at 7 though.
Right. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I'll go with the Clippers in 6. Okay. I think the Mavericks starting lineup will definitely give the Clippers a fight, and I think they've even won a game or two during the regular season against them. So they can definitely beat them. But the difference in the game for me, or in the series, is the bench. The bench for the Clippers will outweigh the bench of the Mavericks, especially if you got Trez coming back with some fire and Lou coming back with some heat. If that bench can be the bench, they will beat the Mavericks. I think that will be the alpha. But I definitely think there will be a fight, and I think the Mavericks could push it 7 if they really want to, if they really fight for it like that. But it could be. I'm going with the Clippers in 6. Now we can move on to the East, and we'll start at the top with the easy one. We can get this one out the way. The Bucks and the Magic. I'll start that one off. Sweep by the Bucks. We already know the Magic. They just got a free trip to the playoffs, pretty much. So, Bucks in 4. Bucks in 3. What you got?
Of course, I'm going with the Bucks, but I do think the Magic was playing basketball this year.
It was.
I really didn't expect them to be balling the way that they've been balling. It takes a lot to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I know everybody said that the East is weak, but nobody ever thought, oh yeah, Orlando will have a chance of getting in. So I think that just says a lot about Orlando and the coaching staff. What they got going on over there. I'm definitely going with the Bucks, and at maybe 3. Yeah, 3. I'm going with 3 as well too. But
I think he's about to say 6.
no, but just the fact that they made it to the playoffs is an eye opener for me. And if they could win 2 games,
that would
I'll
be
be
something.
very impressed with that too.
What you got, E?
Uh,
Upset.
I mean, I have Octopus. I wouldn't beat Shields a game. I mean, if you remember last year, Orlando was the AC. They stole game 1 from the Raptors. So I
True.
wouldn't be
That's
shocked.
true.
Like, plus, if anything, the Orlando players should be the most relaxed. They're all playing at home. Like, but
Yeah,
nah,
that's true.
I see it an early exit for the Magic. You're playing Milwaukee. You're playing Giannis. Bye.
Yeah. Which, by the way, he should have been suspended for this game instead of the last one. I think that was total bullshit. Adam Silver, you fucked up on that one. You already know he wasn't playing the last game, so you should have gave him 2 games. But it don't make a difference in the series. But still, come on now. Moving on to another more interesting series, which I think is going to go 7, and that is the Heat and the Pacers. Jimmy Butler versus T.J. Warren, another candidate for the bubble MVP. He's been balling out. Came out, dropped 53 the first night, opened everybody's eyes. The Pacers is another team that I don't want to say I'm surprised that they were this good, but I am a little bit surprised that they were this good because Oladipo, their star player, was out the whole season, and they still managed to get a top 4, top 5 seed. So that tells you how great coach they are and the guys around them. But the big problem is Sabonis is going to be. How long did they say he was going to be out for?
I'm
Did
not
they
sure.
give an update on that?
Nah, I haven't heard nothing new about his
I think
injury.
that's going to be the key. If he misses a lot of games, that's going to be the key for Miami to take advantage and win that series. But I think both teams are coming into this series with fire because we already know how Jimmy and T.J. Warren feel about each other. They don't like each other,
Not at
and they
all.
want to prove that one over the other is better. And but I'm gonna go with Miami. I think it could go 7, but it all depends on Sabonis and if Oladipo can actually give them half of what he used to be. If that's possible, it can go 7, but I'm going with Miami in 6 because not only Jimmy Butler, we already know what he's going to give you, but those shooters, Hero, Duncan, Nunn. I mean, they got a bunch of guys. Bam. Then you got the vet and Iggy. I mean, they got pieces all around that team, and they're obviously well coached with Eric Spoelstra. My guy, you already know Eric Spoelstra. I always got you. Miami days, and he always gets his team prepared. He's always has his team prepared. So I'm going with Miami in 6. What you got on this one, bro?
I won't be surprised if Indiana is on top.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
The only reason why they're a really extremely tough team. And they're starving out.
Yeah.
And he's only been limited of what he can do. He haven't been the old Oladipo. He haven't. And,
imagine if you got Oladipo and T.J. Warren playing that.
Right. And I love times and moments like this when Sabonis is out, when key factor is out. I love it. The only reason why is because this is when stars are born.
Yeah, that's very true.
So when someone like Sabonis is out, this is time when players off the bench are hungry and they want to show what they are capable of. So don't be surprised, game 1, you just hear someone else that just went off and they had 40-something points, because I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because people are hungry and they want to shoot their shot as well too. So when they get that opportunity, they come out and ball. So I could definitely go with Indiana, and I could think that they could go to 7.
7? All right. Indiana in 7. What you got, E?
I got Miami in 6. I would have said 5, but not saying he's a big scoring effect, but we don't know. I haven't heard anything about Derrick Jones.
That too. Forgot about
So,
him.
that hurts them with, somebody off the bench as well in the front court for Miami. But Miami's the most versatile team in these playoffs. They can guard 1 through 5 with that lineup out there. And
Yeah, they're
I
definitely.
think to me this would be the most interesting series just because of T.J. Warren and Jimmy Butler's problems with each other. Like they don't like each other. Like you can see
I
that
can
they'll
see
fight in the bubble. But yeah, I think Miami. I think Miami in 6. Like you said, they're well coached. They got a whole bunch of shooters. But I know you brought up T.J. Warren, but remember the one game his scoring wasn't there and he kind of disappeared for was when they played Miami.
True.
Which,
Very
like
true.
I said, that them being so versatile defensively, having guys like Bam, Biggie, Jimmy Butler all out there, anybody can guard him at any minute.
Very true.
So my thing is more like I mentioned shooters with Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Every shooter have an off night.
True.
All right. So when you just a shooter, sometimes you're not consistent, like consistently high.
Indiana does play some defense.
Okay, then. So that's just my thing too.
They're gonna have to play great defense to stop them shooters.
Right.
When they get hot, they get hot.
Well, no, yeah,
Duncan
but
and
that's the
Hero.
only problem with Miami. Miami has more than just 2 shooters. They can put up a lineup out there with 4 shooters, and then have a guy like Bam Adebayo run the fucking point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they got the size and everything. They're a team that also reminds me of the Raptors. Next series, that's actually, I think that game actually should be finishing up now. Celtics and the Sixers. You watching that game right now?
That's exactly what I'm watching. Is Celtics got the lead by 6 with about 6 minutes left to play in the fourth.
Okay, so that series is going on right now. I'll let you jump off on this one. Celtics Sixers. Who you got?
My question first is, where's Ben?
He is not coming back.
I'm going with Celtics.
We figured.
Yeah. I would definitely go for the Celtics. And, even with what really opened up my eyes with the Celtics is the fact when Kyrie was there, he was out the whole playoffs and what they did.
Yeah.
So from there, like, I just had nothing but the most respect for them.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for them to actually go far. So I can go with them to 4.
Yo, you going to sweep? Okay.
Yeah, I could go for a sweep.
I can see a sweep. I could definitely see a sweep. E, what you got?
Like I have the Celtics coming out of the East, honestly. But even if Ben was there, I still had Boston beating them. Like the way Tatum and Brown played in the bubble, they were going off as well. And now those two go off, and you still have Gordon Hayward playing well. They got Marcus Smart back. They got all their key guys there and ready. So I'm going to say Boston in 5 because I feel like Embiid will have one game this series where he carries them. Maybe you'll see like Tobias Harris step up a little bit. But I'm going to say Boston just because they're so young and they basically could put anybody out there and they still do well. As of now, I'm not talking as it's going to be complete because Philly's hanging around. Philly's not getting beat. They're down 5 right now. But I just think Boston's going to take it. They got another team that's well coached. And their two top guys are clicking right now.
Mm-hmm. And been there and done that already. Like my brother said, they made it to the conference finals without Kyrie. So they have the experience. They've been there, done that.
And this team, and not that you mentioned that without Kyrie. Let's just say that. All right, they had no Kyrie. This team might be better because they didn't have Gordon Hayward that time. They didn't have a guy like Kemba who's dying to win in the playoffs because all Kemba has ever known is being an 8th seed and getting swept.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, exactly. You got Kemba that's hungry. You got Jason Tatum that's hungry. You got that whole team that's hungry because they know they've been there and that they could possibly get over the hump. So exactly. I agree with both of you guys. I'm going with the Celtics in 5. Ben being out obviously had a huge impact on that. And to even add on to that, not only do I think the Celtics will win in 5 games, but after this series is over, either Embiid or Ben will not be in Philly next year. Just saying that first. One of the two will not be there next year.
I think Ben said something like that. And I have a feeling Philly will make the stupid choice and pick Simmons over Embiid. I've been on record saying that the person to build around is Embiid because at least he has all the tools to the game. Where I feel like Ben still hasn't picked up. Like I should learn how to shoot. So I agree with you. I think we will see one of them. If not this offseason, by next offseason, one of them will be out of Philly.
Yeah, no question. Now the last and final series is the defending champs, the Toronto Raptors versus the Brooklyn Nets, one of my brother's favorite teams.
Toronto's actually
he's from Brooklyn.
Toronto is already 1-0. They played today.
Yeah. So, yeah. And they whipped their ass. It was
no. They didn't really. No. Hold on. I seen most of that game when I got home. Boston made it interesting late, but towards the end of the fourth, Toronto just went away. Yeah. Brooklyn definitely fought around for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have much. We obviously know they don't have their whole team. Dinwiddie's not there, Kyrie's not there, KD's not there, Jordan's not there. They're just there to just get some experience, and we know they were a team that were there last year and made some noise. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. We obviously know they're going to be in the finals conversation for next year when Kyrie and KD are back. But as of right now, just to give those young guys some work a little bit. But I think that series will be over in 4, not just because Brooklyn doesn't have all their pieces, but because Raptors are just that good. Let's remember they're a team that won the championship, and a lot want to say because of Kawhi, but that they had a lot of pieces. They had a lot of pieces, and they won games without Kawhi when he was there during the season. They had a winning record when he wasn't there, and obviously we see what they did this year. Siakam had to step up this year even more, and he did that. Van Fleet stepped up even more. I mean, guys all over. You got young guys like Boucher and there's another guy, but I forgot his name. But the young guys are working too. They bought into the system. Greatly coached. So Raptors are going to be another team that will stick around. I think they're going to sweep this series 4-0. What you got?
I got Toronto in 5.
5. Okay.
I like Brooklyn's young guys. Like Karis LeVert is a dog.
He's a dog, yeah, absolutely.
He's a dog. Jared Allen's good. I feel like Karis LeVert will be the reason Brooklyn lands somebody like Bradley Beal next year. Because him showing out, he's young and he's just building that trade value. Where I feel like it's known that Brooklyn's looking for another star to add with KD and Kyrie. So you might see Karis LeVert if Karis LeVert played on any other team, he'd be a number 1 scoring option.
Yeah, no question.
Next year, obviously, he won't. But right now, like in the game, the bit I watched today, they're good. Like he's good. He's a dog. So he'll be the reason Brooklyn takes at least 1 game this series.
Yeah, and before you go, bro, another thing I want to say about Brooklyn is something that for them to think about. Like you mentioned, LeVert is building his trade value. Now, I know this is very hard-fetched to go this far because not a lot of guys actually have this type of mentality. But it would be great for either him or Dinwiddie to accept a role as a 6-man like Lou Williams and perfect that role.
To be honest,
see what that's doing for the Clippers.
To be honest, Dinwiddie is actually their 6th man. Like when Kyrie was there, he was coming off the bench.
Right. But that's with just Kyrie.
Yeah, but you figure Dinwiddie, I think most of the season, even parts of last year, Dinwiddie was still coming off the bench. I guess once he really took off, they see now we need him in the starting lineup. But I feel like that'll be the reason why LeVert will be traded before Dinwiddie.
Yeah. What you got?
I would love to go with Brooklyn because I'm from Brooklyn, but I've got to be a realist. Bit, above to say that Toronto they might just sweep the Brooklyn Nets. But I I feel like Brooklyn is such a tough team as well too.
Yeah, they
You know,
Yeah,
they shocked me.
definitely.
I'm not gonna lie.
the fact that they have no stars right now, none, and they made it there, and they just been playing basketball, the way that we expected them to play. But just being real, I know that Toronto is going to take it. And, they may just sweep them, but we'll see what will happen next year.
Yeah.
And I would love for them to play them next year.
Let me ask you, since you are a Brooklyn fan,
Right.
what are your thoughts on next year? Are they gonna win it next year? Are they gonna make it at least next year? What do you think? Is it gonna take a year or two?
Are we talking with everyone?
Everyone's still there. You still got the East looks exactly the same. Giannis is still killing in the East.
Okay.
What do you think Brooklyn will be the favorite in the East to make it?
Yes, and the only reason I'm saying that is because of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is not going to allow the East.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think Kevin Durant is like, I'm on the East now and allow them to take me out when I was on the West.
Yeah.
So, he's the opportunity for him to just.
I'll even add it because I haven't said it on a podcast, but Sean knows I've been saying this for a minute. A healthy Durant is the best player in the league.
I agree.
Absolutely.
He is the best basketball player in this league if he's healthy. That being said, I'm not gonna say they'll definitely be in the finals, but they will be a top 3 seed next year.
Right.
I just see them going in the finals. They're such a well balanced team.
I agree. I think there's even with Giannis there, they are the number 1 team in the East next year.
Because you have so many. So many bodies to pick on Giannis.
Right.
All right, you have Jordan. All right, Jordan, rest Allen. I'm gonna put you on him.
Yeah.
Allen, rest KD. You can go on him.
Exactly. You got so many bodies you could throw on him.
So don't get me wrong. I believe the Bucks, they play great team basketball.
Yep.
That's good and everything like that. But your main weapon is Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
And
But when you have
Militant, he could shoot and things like that, and 2 centers like
that.
Brothers.
That to me is something like what Brooklyn is missing right now. Is like when we talk about all these teams who don't have stars and they play good, we give them that thing that they're a tough team, this, that. But those teams are usually missing one thing, which is when the game is close, a guy to get in there and get clutch baskets, where give him the ball, get out the way. And now they're gonna have 2 of those guys.
Okay,
one of them,
right.
One of them to use a quote from last year's playoffs is, "I'm Kevin Durant."
Yeah, exactly.
Like let's not forget the best quote of last year's playoffs. I am Kevin Durant.
Yep. He ain't scared of shit. So, and he's missed the whole year. He's gonna come back with some shit.
And I think he's gonna come back strong. He missed the whole year, and I just feel like he has something to prove.
Yeah.
He has to prove himself.
Everyone's gonna be looking at him, saying, "Hey, are you gonna be the same Kevin Durant that you used to be?" Well, he's about to show it because I've seen some videos of him already. He's doing work. He's putting in that work. He looked like he's gonna come in hot and watch out East.
and this team isn't, in the playoffs, or they didn't even hit the bubble. So, I'm thinking of this team as well. How are they going to do? Golden State.
Yeah, that's definitely a team to think about next year. Golden State is going to be.
I'll give you something to be scared about. With Golden State. If they land a top 2 pick in the lottery, be careful.
Yeah.
Because that's trade value. And they might add somebody else with the returning Splash Brothers, who are like we talked about, a guy not playing, probably the second best shooter, Klay Thompson, is coming back next year. Of healthy Steph, they might be able to add another. If they can add another young star, that could be scary time.
It'll be real scary if they keep adding pieces to that.
You have people already starting the rumor of them wanting to go after Devin Booker.
Right, exactly. Oh my God.
He can't have
Imagine
that.
that. Imagine that.
Um, I could actually see Draymond not being there.
Wait, so you saying trade value? Like they get rid of him or
Yes, you know the
I can
the
see it.
unexpected always happens,
That's true.
and he spoke about this. He said if he was to ever leave, he knows that it's business.
Right.
So it's out in the open and it's out in the air, and it's been heard to
That's
Golden
true.
State as well too. So they're like, okay, we know that he's open to be traded,
Right, yeah,
and
that's
there's
true.
an understanding, and he knows that it's business.
I
Especially
think
if it's for some
for
big
him, for
beast.
them to
Right.
move him though, for them to move him, it would have to be worth the other team acquiring him's deal because he does have a big contract, and let's be honest, he only got that contract because he's playing Golden State.
That's it.
We
got the
put you
money
on
to give
any
it
other,
to him.
if we put him on any other team, you're not a number one scoring option. You're not that guy on any other team but the Warriors. The fact that you can dribble the ball, so they give you the ball to bring up the court because it actually helps Steph Curry's game to run off screens and shoot the ball.
You would
You're
have to
just
go to a shooting team. You
exactly.
would have to go to a team
He would
that
have to go to a.
is
He
similar
needs to be teamed up with a Trey Young type of guy,
right.
like that.
He needs to be surrounded by shooters because he can make plays for other people.
I'm gonna be real. I believe that if he was to go to another team, all he needs is double doubles,
Yeah.
and he would still have value to
Mm-hmm.
teams.
Absolutely.
So that's all it takes. It doesn't take triple doubles or anything like that. Just give me 10 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
You're gonna always have
Play
a
your
job.
role. Play your role, and that's what all teams can ask for.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Definitely.
But that is it. We wrapped up all the schedule, all the series. That's the first round. Obviously, we're gonna get into it when the second round comes about. But other than that, I want to say thank you to all our Patreon members. My brother being one of them. Shout out to all you guys. We appreciate the support. You got Jones Sports shirts, black, white, tank tops. You did. And then we just fresh and new. We got the Jones for Sports hats. You feel me? So if you want one of these bad boys, holla at your boy. You guys already know you can get all of this on the website, Teesprings Jones Sports store. Discounts, if you need it, holla at me. I got the discounts for y'all. Patreon members, sign up for $1 and you get 20% off everything just for being a member. So sign up. It's your boy Jones, E, my brother, E&J Full Course Shop. We make sports better. Hey.
Yeah, this game is mad close. It's